Hey everyone, and welcome to my very first TBR video. These are some of the books I aim to try and read for the month of May. I will show the book and read the synopsis on the back. The first book is Wolf Song by T.J. Klune. Ox was 12 when his daddy taught him a very valuable lesson. He said that Ox wasn't worth anything and people would never understand him. Then he left. Ox was 16 when he met the boy on the end of the road. The boy who talked and talked and talked. Ox found out later that the boy hadn't spoken in almost 2 years before that day. And that the boy belonged to a family who had moved into the house at the end of the lane. Ox was 17 when he found out the boy's secret. And it painted the world around him in colors of red and orange and violet, of alpha and beta and omega. Ox was 23 when murder came to town and tore a hole in his head and heart. The boy chased after the monster with revenge in his blood-red eyes, leaving Ox behind to pick up the pieces. It's been 3 years since that fateful day, and the boy is back. Except now he's a man, and Ox can no longer ignore the song that howls between them. The next book is Feel My Pain by K.A. American. 2 years ago, the Rabbit Hyenas MC ripped Zane apart like a pack of starving wolves. But he's not only a survivor, he took revenge that same night. Turns out one of the bikers is still alive, and as long as that's the case, Zane will not know peace, especially since Roach is the dirtbag who caused all the mayhem in the first place. When an act of revenge meant to close that chapter of Zane's life takes a shocking turn, all hell breaks loose. Roach's pain is his. When Roach bleeds, he does. When Zane suffers, Roach screams. So until Zane can figure out how to lift the curse and kill Roach, he's stuck caring for the dumbass who drinks too much, works like a dog, and hasn't moved on an inch since he lost his motorcycle club. But Roach has other plans for the man twisting his miserable life around. For him, Zane is hope, lust, and love combined. So Roach will gladly stay bound to him forever, even if it kills them. The Oceanography of the Moon by Glendy Vandera. After the untimely deaths of her aunt and mother, young Riley Mays moves from Chicago to her cousin's Wisconsin farm. Here, she found solace in caring for her extraordinary adoptive brother, exploring the surrounding wild nature and gazing at the mystical moon, a private refuge in which she hides from her most painful memories. But 10 years later, now 21, Riley feels too confined by all the protective walls she's erected around herself. When a stranger enters her family's remote world, Riley senses something he's hiding, a desire to escape that she understands well. Suffering from writer's block, best-selling novelist Von Orr has taken to the county roads when he happens upon the accommodating, if somewhat unusual, Mays family. He's soon captivated by their eccentricities, and especially by Riley and her quiet tenacity. In her, he recognizes a shared need to keep heartbreaking secrets buried. As the worst moments of their lives threaten to surface, Riley and Vaughn must find the courage to confront them if they're to have any hope of a happy future. With the help of Riley's supportive family, a dash of everyday magic, the healing power of nature. Can the pair let go of the troubled past they've clung to so tightly for so long? Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. In a world without magic, an assassin is summoned to the castle. She comes to kill with the vicious king. She comes not to kill the vicious king who rules from his throne of glass, but to win her freedom. If she defeats 23 killers, thieves, and warriors in a competition, she will be released from prison to serve as the king's champion. Her name is Selena Sodarthian. The crown prince will provoke her. The captain of the guard will protect her. A princess from a faraway land will befriend her, but something evil dwells in the castle, and it's there to kill. When her competitors start dying one by one, Selena's fight for her freedom becomes a fight for survival, and a desperate quest to root out the evil before it destroys her world. Malice by John Gwynne. The banished lands have a violent past, where armies of men and giants clashed in battle. An uneasy peace reigns, but now giants stir once more. The very stones weep blood, and there are sightings of gigantic worms. Those who can still read the signs see a prophecy realized. Sorrow will darken the world as angels and demons make it their battlefield. Young Corbin watches enviously as boys become warriors and yearns to join them. Determined that he will make his family proud, it is only when everything he knows is threatened that he discovers the true cost of becoming a man. As the kings look to their borders and priests beg answers from the gods, only a chosen few know that the fate of the world would be decided between two champions, the black sun and the bright star, and with their coming will be a war to end all wars. The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen. Flora has only one thought for her husband on their wedding day. I will bring your kingdom to its knees. A princess trained from childhood to be a lethal spy. Laura knows that the Bridge Kingdom represents both legendary evil and legendary promise. The only route through a storm-ravaged world, the Bridge Kingdom controls all trade and travel between the lands, allowing its ruler to enrich himself and deprive his enemies, including Laura's homeland. So when she is sent as a bride under the guise of fulfilling a treaty of peace, Laura is prepared to do whatever it takes to fracture the defenses of the impenetrable Bridge Kingdom. But as she infiltrates her new home, a lush paradise surrounded by its tempest seas, and comes to know her new husband, Aaron, Laura begins to question where the true evil resides. Around her she sees a kingdom fighting for survival, and in Aaron, a man fiercely protective of his people. As her mission drives her to deeper understanding of the fight to possess the bridge, Laura finds the simmering attraction between her and Aaron impossible to ignore. His goal is nearly within reach, and Laura will have to decide her own fate. Will she be the destroyer of a king, or the survivor of her people? Arsenic and Adobo by Mia P. Meninsala. When Lila moves back home to recover from a horrible breakup, her life seems to be following all typical rom-com tropes. She's tasked with saving her Tita Rosie's failing restaurant, and she has to deal with a group of matchmaking aunties who shower her with love and judgment. But when a notoriously nasty food critic, who happens to be her ex-boyfriend, drops dead moments after a confrontation with Lila, her life quickly swerves from a Nora Ephron romp to an Agatha Christie case, which, with the cops treating her like she's the one and only suspect, and the shady landlord looking to finally kick the Massapequa family out of moving the family out and reselling the storefront. Lila's left with no choice but to conduct her own investigation. Armed with a nosy aunt network, her barista best bud, and her trusted dash hound, Longangsia, Lila takes on this tasty, twisted case and soon finds her own neck on the chopping block. And the last book I'm going to mention today is The Constable's Tale by Donald Smith. A traveling peddler discovers the murder of a family in Colonial, North Carolina. Their bodies have been left in bizarre positions. Circumstances point to an Indian attack, but Harry Woodyard, a young planter who is the volunteer constable of Craven County during a period of America's past when there was no professional police force, finds clues that seem to indicate otherwise. The county establishment wants to blame the crime on a former inhabitant, an elderly Indian who has suddenly reappeared in the vicinity, like an old ghost. But he is a person to whom Harry owes much. Defying the authorities, Harry goes off on his own to find the real killer. His investigation takes him up the Atlantic seacoast and turns into a perilous quest for an even bigger quarry that could affect Britain's future on the American continent. Thanks for watching.